Welcome back to the Hockey Show, and today we are talking about the news that is next year's Winter Classic, which will be the Florida Panthers taking on the New York Rangers in Miami, Florida, as well as long as that news was the Tampa Bay Lightning heading outside as well in Tampa Bay against the Boston Bruins. And I have some interesting thoughts on this overall, and I've seen some interesting thoughts on the internet, but before we break it all down and get into it, you should subscribe because it's a new year, new you. You didn't subscribe last year, so change that. Make that your new resolution and go subscribe right now. Done? Cool. Anyways, the Winter Classic next year, which will be on January 2nd, 2026, which is a good thing because it'll actually be next year, so I guess that means in 2025 we will not actually have a Winter Classic. It'll be the first year without one because, technically speaking, it didn't happen on the 1st. They decided to do it on New Year's Eve. Because the NHL is so cool, but in which I'll get way more into in a second. But the Rangers taking on the Florida Panthers in Miami, okay? First thoughts, initial thoughts on that is, okay, I mean, I'm not mad against that, right? I mean, Florida versus New York City, Miami Vice versus Liberty, like, I don't know, I like it. I saw, like, the comments, they were making fun of it, or the one post was Liberty City versus Vice City, and, like, it being the GTA-themed Winter Classic before GTA 6. I think that's pretty funny. But, in all honesty, though, without the negativity yet that I'll get way into in a minute, but the jerseys, or at least the theming of this matchup, which I kind of liked what the Florida Panthers already like released with that, like the iguana freezing or whatever, I like the idea of. I feel like they're really going to lean into it. And when Florida did the All-Star game, which the All-Star game is a complete joke nowadays anyways, but they did have fun with it, right? And I think they're going to do the same thing this year. I think Florida has, I think it's a great organization, and I feel like they do have fun. They do things and knock it out of the park a lot. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for it, and I feel like the New York Rangers being the away team is kind of cool. And I think the only thing they really have to do with it is their jersey at the end of the day. And seeing, like, Shesterkin in whatever jersey that they're going to wear, like, it should be, like, Miami Vice, like, pink and light blue and white or black, whatever the hell, versus, I don't know what New York City would wear. I don't know what exact colors, but regardless, I think the color matchup with the jersey matchup should be amazing. I think they'll do something really cool. I really like what Fanatics did this year. I think next year should be awesome as well, right? So, initial thoughts, cool. January 2nd, kind of weird. I get they don't want to do it on the 1st, but still, I don't know, we'll see if they schedule 10 other games on the same day as well and not make it as cool as the thing should be. But in all honesty, I'm looking at this thinking this could be a little bit of a resurgence for the Winter Classic. So kind of looking forward to it. Next, the Stadium Series. Bruins versus the Tampa Bay Lightning is an okay matchup. I could see that being an outdoor game. And the jerseys, I feel like they're going to do very bold-looking things, like kind of wear the fireman jerseys that the Bruins wore, like just the big bold stripes. Like I definitely feel they will lean into that, and the Lightning, the white jersey they wore against was it Nashville? Yeah, Nashville a couple years ago with the big bolts, and then like the Lightning little whatever you want to call that outline there. I thought that was cool, and I feel like they'll probably do the same thing. And that's kind of what they've been doing with the Stadium Series jerseys anyways. It's just very bold, very big. So I think that could be kind of interesting. Like, nothing against that, like, just like the fact of it. But this is where I do have some problems with this stupid fucking company that is the NHL, is that they've decided that the Bruins and the Lightning and Rangers and the Panthers is the matchup, right? Okay, I would say if this was their little crop of teams, this was the worst way they could go about making this whole thing up, right? So I like that they did the Winter Classic in Florida. Cool idea, interesting, it's different. I'm all good with that. But wouldn't it have made sense if, I don't know, we flipped these two teams around a little bit, and would that not be already so much better? The Bruins and the Panthers have had the most, to me personally, I guess maybe not completely, but they have had at least top 3 the best rivalry over the last 3-ish years at this point between the Bruins knocking out the Panthers, and then the Panthers knocking out the Bruins, like the Destiny team last year. And then the games that they've had during the regular season have been nutso. Like, that rivalry has been brewing. And I know the NHL has to do this stuff probably, like, so far in advance. I don't even know. Probably, like, 2 years or at least a year in advance. Obviously, a year. But they've had enough time to know that this was a thing and not really this. Right? This is not a thing. Sure, they ran into each other for that one playoff, that one series, but the Bruins, like, it's the same time span as the Rangers and the Bruins have been. And I also just don't really get it, because, like, okay, even and if you flip this around like how I just did, the Rangers and the Lightning have a much better history with each other. They've ran into each other in the Eastern Conference Finals in a somewhat recent history. I know it's not too recent, but somewhat recent. They've had, like, that little, like, Marty St. Louis going between the Lightning and then to the Rangers. Like, they have, and then, like, Shesterkin versus Vasilevsky could be that little, like, matchup there. Best Russian, the handing over of the torch, you could say, of best goalie to best goalie in the world. Like, there is a actual genuine connection between those two teams. Not like the Bruins and the Lightning, sort of, right? I mean, I could say the same thing. They've ran into each other in the playoffs a few times recently, but it's not to the extent I would say that they have that connection with the New York Rangers. Absolutely not. And how is and my biggest issue with the NHL is this Winter Classic, I don't even think reached above 1 million viewers, average viewers at least, right? Didn't even get over that, right? The Winter Classic has been in decline forever. It's because they keep making it a stale, worthless thing to watch. They have been doing that continuously. This one coming up, the one that just happened, I mean, was the between the Blackhawks and the Blues. I was so uninterested in it, and I don't know if you can tell, I have my own channel where I've made probably almost 300 videos or something like that of hockey videos. I wear hockey shirts almost, not every day actually, pretty much maybe 3 times a week, 2 times a week, maybe. That's a lie. Doesn't matter. I like hockey. I pay attention. And somehow, even I had no clue until, the last fucking minute that the Winter Classic was on New Year's Eve and not New Year's Day. Because I was, so looking forward to, when it was coming up, because I was, on vacation and stuff, ready to watch it, and I was like, wait, it's, not on the first when I go on the NHL app. Because the NHL did zero marketing for everyone to know that. Nothing. And they put it on a day that just no one, it's also at, a weird time, on, 3 where I am, on New Year's Eve. It's just a strange time. New Year's Day in the morning makes total sense. Everyone's at home, everyone's awake, everyone's there to watch the game early in the morning. It's nice to see a hockey game at night, during the daytime when it could be snowing or stuff, and if you know it's snowing, it's cooler at night. But I don't know, it's just they keep making them progressively less interesting, other than the Wild versus the Blues. That one was super cool, which made sense because it's in Minnesota, and that's kind of a built-in little bit of a rivalry, somewhat, but at least the outdoor aspect was awesome of it. Look at what they're doing now. Why can they not? Why not do this instead? Also, flip this completely around, and you give us one outdoor matchup where it's completely the South, and it's out in the outdoors, Florida versus Florida, or you could even do Dallas. You know what? I would even say do the Hurricanes versus the Panthers. I think that would be cool too, kind of the two Hurricanes versus, Panthers, kind of, feel like that's kind of a little bit of something. Or Dallas or Nashville, some team that's in outdoors, or even California. Do California versus Florida. Something cool. Sharks versus Florida. I don't know, any other matchup than this one makes so much sense. And also at the same time, you give us the outdoor warm matchup, and then you give us the east up north cold matchup where it could actually be actually, I have no idea if it actually snows in February in for Boston. I have no idea. But I don't care. But regardless, it's something, right? I don't know what the hell's wrong with the NHL, but on paper, I like the idea of seeing the Rangers versus the Panthers. It's two teams that, well, now apparently the Rangers, NHL would have no idea before the season that the Rangers were going to fall completely apart. But hypothetically speaking, the Rangers should still at least be competitive next year. They have Shesterkin, so at least they'll have that going for them. So Shesterkin and Panarin and maybe Zibanejad, maybe JT Miller at this point, maybe Pettersson, who knows? Adam Fox versus Ekblad and Kachuk and Barkov and Bobrovsky and Verhaeghe. Like, it'll be fun. I think it'll be Sam Reinhart especially. Like, it'll be a fun matchup. It'll be competitive, a lot more competitive than this year's was. So, yeah. So, somewhat, on paper, I am interested. Like, I'm not mad on paper. But knowing what could have been, literally with the same exact fucking teams, it's annoying. But I guess that's whatever, and I guess my opinion doesn't really matter. So that is all I've got to say. So if you made it this far, thank you so much. Please subscribe, and until next time, I hope you have an amazing day. Too sweet, and ta-ta for now.